And finally, the last tool, another tool for mod authors is the Unified Mod Installer Library. And this is a very useful application for all mod authors that do anything along the lines of database changes, adding or changing permissions, messing with the SQL schema. And essentially, it abstracts it to the point where you can simply build a teeny little script, and then the library will process everything for you. So 1.0 was written mainly by XReaction Nathan, who is right over there. Say hi. And it was, I believe, Highway of Life. David Lewis has worked on it too. Yeah, he worked on it. And it is used and well accepted within the modding community right now, and many mods that have anything, that have more than one, little change will actually use it because it's so simple to use. And I think there are plans that it will be included in, or there were talks going around about it being in 3.1. You may know more about that.
Something similar.
Something similar. And then we actually recently created, well, not recently, but a couple months back, we created a what would you like to see in UMIL 2.0, which that is currently undergoing development. And we have no ETA on that at the moment, but we're still accepting, if you guys have any ideas, please feel free to find that topic in Mod Writers discussion.
All right, quick install. I actually created the first version of quick install for phpBB 2, and the idea is that you can install phpBB with one single click. The way it currently is, or the way it used to be before quick install, was that you had to go through the whole installation process. So you had to click through all of the installation screens. For phpBB 2, that wasn't that much of a hassle because you had just one screen where you enter the database information. For phpBB 3, you have like this wizard kind of layout where you go through like 6 or 7 screens, and it's a real pain. This is mostly aimed at mod authors and also at mod validators, because the way they do it usually is to just use one board for testing, and then they just install all of the mods onto the single board. And that's not really good because mods can interfere with each other, so you don't really have an isolated environment. And with quick install, you have a possibility to install a single board for each mod, so you can test it in its own isolated environment. And it even gives you the possibility to manage these boards, so you can also delete them with a single click. Oh yeah, and another thing that it does is it installs automod for you. So you've got like a checkbox in the screen. I'll show you a screenshot. There you go. So you enter the board name. Well, board name and board description are already set by default, and you can override them. And then you have to enter a board database and directory name, which is just an identifier that is used. So you can opt in to install automod, which is of course for validators and for mod authors if they want to test their own mods. It's great because they can really easily install it. Okay, next up, MPV, the mod pre-validator. This was authored by the mod team, and Vic also worked on it. He was on the development team. As a little history, the first similar tool was written also by Smithy DLL, and it was also written in C++. C#, sorry, and was called EAL. What does it stand for, actually?
Eval with the V drop. just to avoid conflict and to create yet another TLA.
They took the V
Okay.
sideways to make a username.
Yeah, that was the mod team version.
No,
MDL was
Oh,
from-
no,
MDL was the launching version.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was medium or something.
Oh,
Medium.
mini. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, there were actually several similar tools which had really interesting names like AMV. I think there was even another one. Anyway, MPV is the current version. It's well, it was already mentioned before by Derky. It's basically a static analysis tool which looks at your mod files and gives you hints on what could be improved. And this is for security, for language files. There's quite a lot of things. At some point, there was even a check for syntax errors. So it's really useful. And it was open sourced about 1.5 years ago. So you can also run it locally. But there's also a hosted version on phpBB.com. You can just go to phpBB.com/mod/mpv. And you can have your mod checked there. And actually, in Titania, which I believe is going to be spoken about a bit later by Nathan, it performs an MPV check automatically. Titania is the customization database. So, yeah, that's MPV. So, now, how do all of these different tools work together? You can really build like a workflow with all of these tools. So first you've got quick install, which allows you to set up the initial board. Then you make the changes to the code, to the installed code base, and you can generate a diff or generate the modx file using the modx generator. Then you can load it up in the modx creator. And you can add like metadata, description, title, author information, and so on. And finally, you can use UMIL to do the database changes. And you can use Automod to test your mod and make sure it works properly. So the fourth bullet point is actually the most important, because it's used by administrators, by mod authors themselves to test it, and also by the validators. I mean, all the previous items are only for mod authors, really. So yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Jeremy Lorenzo, or Typo as he's known on the forums, I guess he's having trouble this morning and he's unable to make it, so I will be subbing in for him. So getting involved is a really essential part of the community itself, and especially with something like the modding community, the only reason why we exist is because of the community. Our work wouldn't be the same if we didn't have people submitting mods all the time. So there's always questions of how can new users get involved? What can more experienced users do? Making mods. There are things like the wiki, and there's junior mod validators, and you can just simply spread the word. So the community itself is essentially just the community. They're a group of people who hang out, especially on the 3.0 modifications forums, and if you hang out at the on ModWriters discussion, you'll always see people who know what they're doing, and they always reply to posts. There's people who have no clue what they're doing and they're getting help, and there's people who are completely clueless, and no matter how much you help them, they still want step-by-step tutorials. So how can new users get involved? This is really this is always a question that seems to pop up. You can start by getting involved by simply contributing to things like, helping other people out in the forums. If you have questions, you can ask. Many times, people do have the answers. You can also post your new mods that you're creating in the mods and development forum, and that's always great to see. Mods being used, your mod being used by other people, and you can get feedback on that through the people who test it. What can more experienced users do? After you've been creating mods for a little while, or you are very proficient in PHP or other similar languages that can help you, you can get involved in more ways, and that's mainly on the mod team standpoint. You can become a junior validator. The junior validators are, as Derky and Paul explained it, they are not full team members, but we are always on the lookout for team members, and we will always pick, well, not always, but when we look for team members, we often will look in the junior validators, for potential team members. And so if you do want to get involved, that is the place to start. It's a simple application process, and you can find it on the Get Involved page. Making your own mod, it's even easier now that we have Titania, which is the new customization database that Nathan and Tom will talk about later on today. It's not really too much to say there. It's just when you make your mod, you simply submit it, create a new revision, and you hope that it will be validated. The wiki and the mod writers library. The wiki currently, we're on Confluence, but I believe we are slowly making our way back to MediaWiki because Confluence hasn't gone over too well. And the mod writers library is an idea that I had that I'm finally, I guess, going to try and promote, and it's going to be a new category in the wiki where you can share scripts and such that other mod writers can use in their mods. And we there are a couple requirements, like it has to include a license, GPL v2 or compatible, and such. The wiki, we are trying to quickly get back to MediaWiki because it seems we have better user contribution on that. I talked about junior mod validators and how many times that can lead to a team position. And finally, spreading the word. Just as a community member, you are probably going, I hope you enjoy yourself in the community and writing mods, because that's always fun I think it's fun to write mods, but then, essentially you just want to make it known that, hey, I write mods for phpBB, and it's great that you do that. One thing that's not on this presentation are the bridges. I made an announcement a couple weeks ago, and it didn't get put in this presentation because it was so recent, that there's a new category in the customization database for bridges, and this essentially, there are some new rules just for packaging bridges, and we are trying to build up some bridges, to integrate with other pieces of software. Colón has announced that he's working on a Drupal bridge, and I am working on a MediaWiki bridge right now, and you can find that in the Mods in Development forum. The Drupal bridge is going to be released today, Colón says, and a development version. Okay. So I guess we go back to David for an open floor Q&A session.